Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And this is my buddy Puccini, who keeps me company in the craft room and generally gets in a lot of trouble. So we have kind of a fun card for you. It's a fun fold and it's masculine, and I'm using mine to use as a graduation card, a congratulations for graduation. It's a masculine theme, and it could be used for anything to do with the masculine card you need to send. You could turn it into a thank you, you could turn it into a happy birthday. It's very versatile, and I think you're going to like it. Let's just get started. Here is my card. This is the first I made, and I have one that is in a feminine theme, and I'll try and find it here before I'm done with the video so you can see what it's like. My friend Sandy sent this to me as a swap, and then I'd seen a similar one that she made in this kind of a scheme that was very, very pretty. And you open it like this, and mine has a place for you to write your sentiment in here. And this one says Happy Trails, and it says Explore and More Happy Trails. And then since then, in the Sentimental Park, I found four, and then it says Your Graduation, Your New Adventure. And so we'll be using the For Your Graduation in this one. And my nephew is one that is a big camper and outdoors kind of person, so I thought this one would be appropriate for him. And I used the dies from the Something Fancy, and it's got 3 sizes of this die. This smaller one, this size, and then a larger one. And on this card that I'm doing now, I'm using the larger one for a couple of reasons. And I did some stamping on this, and I've used this paper that's got the map on it on the inside to add a little bit more of that travel and adventure theme. So what you need to make this card is I have a base that is in Mossy Meadow that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And then you need a piece of Very Vanilla that is 4 by 5 1/4 for the front of the card. And then for the inside of the card, you need a piece that is 5 1/4 by 8. And then you score it every 2 inches. Goes scored at 2, 4, and 6 inches. And then you're going to fold it like this, so that you create this kind of shape. And I'll just leave that there so you can see that shape. And so what we're going to do, and I've already started a little bit ahead so I could show you what it was I did. I went ahead, and the other stamp I'm using is the Campology, which I'm sure just retired yesterday. And I used the trees, and I did that on the front of this before I cut this piece out. And so I had a little piece on the end here that had this top of this tree here. So I went ahead and stamped some more trees on that piece, and it cuts out these 2 pieces. So I attached this 4 by 5 1/4 to my card base front so I could get a perfectly matched set of cutouts here to use. And then this one I think I can use on the inside for more decoration. And I also cut out this piece of that journey paper that is 1 7/8 by, what is it, probably 5, yeah, a little over 5, maybe 5 1/8 for decoration for the inside. So we've got that. And then I also did cut out one of these, because I don't know if I want to do it or not, but this I thought would be kind of fun on top there. Those are the pieces that you need to make the card. And the rest of it is stamping and the Campology. I used this, I used the tent, I used this lantern, Happy Trails, Explore, lots of things here to use, and you can certainly mix it up from there. So I already affixed my 8.5, my 4 by 5 1/4 on the front, and while I was at it, because I didn't want to stamp over this, I stamped my trees in this corner. And so there's my trees, and I just used crumb cake ink and stamped that right there. All right, next I want to figure out exactly how I'm going to put these messages on the front of this. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is put my For Your Graduation on here first. There's my 4 stamp. It's got a 4 and then it's got 2 little dashes. And I'm going to grab my crumb cake ink here, and I'm going to put this 4 right up here at the top, right over on this side. 4, and then I'm going to put Your Graduation right down here. For Your Graduation. There we go. And then I'm going to use this tent, and I'm going to stamp it on here. And what I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to use a couple of pieces of Post-it note, I think, so that I can stamp on here without getting any ink on the edge of my card. And I could have done that with these trees as well, but I didn't think of that until it was too late. So I'm going to go ahead and put this Post-it note right along that edge and right along this bottom edge. And I'm going to stamp this little tent right in this corner as though it were right on the edge of this little bit of forest. And so right in here, I stamp my tent, and it doesn't quite go all the way, but that's fine. You get the idea of it. And so For Your Graduation, and then I'm going to also stamp Explore right in here. And I have another one that is Happy Trails, and I think I'll save that for the inside. All right, the next thing we're going to do on a piece of scrap is stamp this lantern. And so I'm going to put my lantern right over here on the corner and get it stamped down, and then I'm going to fussy cut that out. And to save a little bit of time, I've got mine cut out, and I used my new Lemon Lolly blend and put, in fact, you'd probably want to practice this a bit before you do it on your actual one. It took me 2 or 3 tries to get it the way I wanted it. What I did was I created something that kind of looked like a flame, something like that, and actually just an oval will work. And then I took my light pumpkin pie, and I added a little bit of orange down here at the bottom to give that flame kind of look. And then for me, you can leave it that way, and it's very pretty. I didn't want it to be that stark, so I went back over it with the Lemon Lolly and blended it in a little bit. And I think that makes a nice looking flame for the inside of your lantern. And so I did that probably 3 or 4 times, trying different colors, and that was the combination I liked the best. My guess is if you had Knoll's Soft Saffron, So Saffron, that would work. And the Daffodil Delight would be a little bright, but maybe the light one would work too. and the light pumpkin pie is perfect. Okay, so I've cut mine out, and then once I cut this piece out with this die, and I will say that what you have to do is, because you're going through 2 layers of cardstock, I went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth a couple of times just to make sure it got all the way through, and then I'd take it out and look at it, and I had this taped down so I could take it out and look at it and make sure that it had cut out, and if it hasn't, you could put it back in and do it again. So that's what I did there. So the next thing we're going to do is do our work on this piece. We'll do this one just in a little bit later. But what I have for this is I have this material here, and I have found this is, it's called X-Fasten, and the thing that's different about it is that it's not a dot runner, it's a straight tape. And what I have found is, using that on the back of my vellum, you really can't see it. Now, I'm always experimenting with different mediums because I was using that plus, and now you can't find it. At least I can't find it. I found some on eBay for a while, but that little bit of tape there really doesn't show through at all on the other side. And so, using it a little judiciously, I put some at the top, and especially where you've got lots of pattern, to be able to put some. But I have to admit that putting this down, I saw none of the tape on this. And so if we can get this centered on this piece, sometimes it's good to get these things down before you put them in, also to do any stamping that you're going to do. And one of the things that I wanted to do on this was to put down, and I'll grab a piece of scratch paper here. I wanted to put down one of these tents on the bottom of this panel to just give it a little interest. And so stamping my tent down, it's a heck of a lot easier to do your stamping when this is like this and not in the card. Now on this panel here, which is this one, I used some of the words. So I've got explore, which I'm going to put down, and I'm going to put that down a couple of times. And then I've got happy trails, which I'm also going to put down a couple of times, like this. And then, let's see, then I used a splatter. I can't remember where this is from, but I will put it on the screen for you. And I found that going off once and then just putting some of these splatters on here, I thought added to the interest on this panel. And so there we go. That panel is now all ready to go on my card. Now what I'm going to do is put some seal, well, not seal, but this stuff, but seal would work really well on this too. And I'm going to go ahead and put that right here on this edge with a margin all the way around that is similar. Well, Puccini's decided to come and help, so I'll try and do this without moving him. But basically what you want to do is you want to glue this part down. So I've glued this end down, and I've got my pieces on here. I had to redo this piece, and then Puccini started chewing on it, so I'm not exactly sure here. So I'm going to add some more splatters back on here. My piece was not straight, and I don't know what I did, but it wasn't working. So there we go. Now we're back to where we were, and I'm going to put the glue on this side to glue this part down, and then we'll have to re-glue, and I'll show you what I mean, on the inside of this. So I'm going to take my seal, since I don't want to have to guess how far over this is, and I'm going to add my seal to this part of the card. So I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to add my seal right along that piece there, along the score line, and then right next to it in here. And you want to just be careful that you don't put any glue beyond the point that this margin is going to be. And then we can do some touch-up gluing, and I'll show you what I mean by that. And if you just close this like this and put this down here, it's going to glue, but we're going to need to have it glue here at the top and here at the bottom, because when you open it, see, it's open like this. And what I found worked the best was to take my liquid glue and put it right, and I hope you can see that, right along the inside of this, right on the end. Oops, that's a lot of glue, so grab something and take some of that off. And then put some down here also on this edge. And then you can push this down and hold it for a minute. And when you pick it up, the glue will have come where it needs to be here and close those gaps that were there. So now we've got a nice clean glue job there that has all of that, and all my stamping and decorations is already on here, so we don't have to worry about that. Next we have these pieces, and I was thinking that I could put this on, and what we're going to do is glue this down to this. So I may want to add a couple more of those stamps. Somehow that didn't seem to be a problem on the other one. But I'm going to put another Happy Trails going that way, there, and another Explore across here. So we'll be able to see all of those things even though we're gluing part of that down. Okay, so what we're going to do is glue this piece here right into here so that when we open this, this will flip back like this. All right, so I'm going to add some glue on the inside of this piece here, and I'm going to add it along that fold line and right around here along this edge, and I'm going to put this piece in place and fit it in there so that it's right along that edge, and using Tombow allows you to move it a little bit so that it's a perfect fit in there. Okay, so now when we open this like this, that piece is going to be glued to this, and you're going to see our decoration from the inside and the outside. Now, I thought it would be kind of interesting to put another piece of this paper on here and then add this piece. And I'm still trying to decide what I think about that. Actually, I kind of like it. So I think what I'm going to do is now use this other glue that didn't seem to leave any visible marks on my vellum, and put that in place on this piece. We can do that from the top because it's cut out by the same die. And put that piece in place like that. Now then, we're going to add this piece to the inside here. Because it's a pop-up, I don't think I'm going to add any dimension to it. I'm not going to put it up on dimensionals or anything. I'm just going to go ahead and put it into place right here in the center there, and it's got that cute little flame on it. And then I think I am going to add a few splatters around on here just to give this whole thing a little bit of texture. And it might look a little bit like a starry sky also. And so it says explore, and then it says for your graduation, happy trails, explore, and then you can write your message in here. And I think this is going to be a great card for my nephew for his graduation. And so that is my project for the day. And I'll show you a couple of other iterations here that I tried. I tried one where I tried to do this paper on the front, and then do some stamping over the top of it, but as you can see, you can just barely see it, and stamping on vellum takes forever to dry. So about the only thing you can do is use a heat tool on it to get it to dry, and in this case I probably might have made it work if I used early espresso, something that was much darker on here. And I'm going to quickly see if I can find the card that is the feminine version of this that my friend Sandy did for a swap. Here is the card that Sandy made, and she did it as a thank you card, and when you open it, it does this, and then she used some of the designer series paper from that Dainty Delights that was the free paper in Celebration. And that was what gave me the inspiration for this. And so that is that version. And I'm trying to think if I tried anything else. That might have been it. But in the end, I really like the way this came out. I'm going to have to make my buddy go away here, or I'm not going to be able to finish my video. He's going to have to be evicted. So that is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. For those of you that have written to me to ask if I was okay, because I was off all of last week. I didn't put up a single video last week, and I was a little under the weather, and so I just didn't quite have the energy to get it done. But I'm back, and a little late today, but moving right along. So I think I do like this opening, this aperture, a little bit better, larger than this one. And I do like the addition of the paper because I think it then matches the paper on the inside of the card. Now you still have plenty of room here to write your message, and I think this is kind of a fun little card, and I'm very pleased with the way it came out. Again, thanks so much for stopping by. Let's see what's going on. Tons of stuff. I think today's the first day you can order from the new catalog online. And my online card class is open and available, and it will be using in the new catalog, and I think I can show this today because the catalog is live. This is the stamp set that I'm using for my online card class. There it is. I'm going to be using this textured floral suite, and then I'm also using the Hello Irresistibles paper for the online card class. And so registration is probably open until about the 15th of May, and then packages will go out towards the end of May. And so hopefully you'll get a chance. Some of you that have taken my card classes before, you know the package is very generous, and you get exclusive designs and PDFs and videos and lots and lots and lots of material. So if you have a chance, take a look at it and see if it's something you might be interested in. So I have a prize draw every month. I haven't picked my prize draw for March yet. April. I'll do that this afternoon. But you put yourself in the drawing by making an order of any size on my store, lbedinger.stampinup.net. You can get to it through my blog, www.ingenuity.com. So that's it for me, and I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!